Whether it's the regular season or the off-season, we have you covered as we give you the best Tennessee Titans and NFL news and insight that a fan could ask for. You're watching the Titan Upload Network. The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this Tuesday evening. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I tried going on Monday. I really did. You know, the dedication was there, the heart was there, but my body was just exhausted. And I'll be honest with you, the Super Bowl was exhausting within itself. I didn't get any sleep that night, so I was basically running on coffee and just the concept of running. So that was pretty much why I kicked the show over on Tuesday today, because my body just said, nope, can't do it. Just can't do it. But hey, we're here now. Finally had a good 48 hours to just contemplate things, especially the game, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But of course, can't do it without the help of my good friend and co-host, Tyler Staggs of Titans Time Podcast, and of course, the BS Report. Tyler, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
It's weird to say. It's weird to say, regardless. But hey, we're talking football, regardless.
Look, we were going to make it happen for y'all this week. It didn't happen on Monday. That's okay. Everyone's got to rest and recover from Super Bowl on Sunday. We're not having to rest as much as probably Philadelphia right now, because Lord knows that city needs help right now because they are tearing it down even though they won. So, but we're here now. So that's all that matters.
And take this into consideration. Apparently 42% of the American populace basically took off work Monday. So it seems like we're inching closer and closer to this actually becoming a national holiday. And it's going to become a real thing if we get an 18-game schedule, because then the Super Bowl would basically fall right before the day on President's Day. So then you get that free day off.
Unfortunately, it doesn't help me at my job because we don't get President's Day. So,
well, might change down the road. So we'll see how that goes. No worries. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Titan Bros, he was mad at me. He was coming with fire and everything, wondering what's going on. Nah, I'm playing. It's all good. He just wanted to know if the show was coming on, so I just told him that's my bad. Lone Star, we just getting started, so you're right at the right time. So no worries. Well, guys, a lot to talk about. We'll talk about the Super Bowl a little bit later, but of course, jam-packed show. Just because the off-season started, this is where we truly shine here at TUN. So we're going to get things rolling because we got a lot of draft talk to talk about. We got to stretch it out for the next almost 2.5 months. So, Tyler, what do you say? Let's just go ahead and jump into this bad boy.
Let's do it.
Jumping into the first segment of the hour, I'm your host, Michael Bishop of the Power Hour, joined by Tyler Staggs, and we're joining right now with the kickoff.
And here's the kick.
Ooh, this one was fun. Well, apparently Derrick Henry's loving life in Baltimore, which can't blame him. The fact that you've got a decent offensive line, you've got a quarterback that's got a very high ceiling, and you've got a very wide open Super Bowl window still. So, from no surprise, it shouldn't surprise anyone, to say the least. Apparently, he wants to retire a Raven at this point, and unfortunately, if you're a Titans fan, that probably didn't sit too well on your stomach. So let's just jump into the controversy and just start piecing this out one by one. Tyler, big deal, small deal, or no deal?
I'm going to say small deal, and the only reason I go up to small deal on it is because I feel like his wording maybe could have been better. And who knows, maybe he meant what he said. Maybe he does when he decides to retire. Maybe he's going to retire as a Raven. Who knows? But I think what he was probably meaning more of is he doesn't want to play anywhere else. for the rest of his career. He wants to, as far as his playing time goes, finish out his time in Baltimore. Now, could he end up signing like a one-day contract with the Titans and retire as a Titan? Sure. He could also retire as a Raven, but I'm not that worked up about it. When I saw it, I didn't get that worked up about it. Now, you have that fandom side of you where it's kind of a little kick in the gut, especially considering it's the Ravens, and it's like, man, he's really living it up over there, saying he wants to retire a Raven now. Like, that can be a little hurtful, but again, I think it's just a small deal.
I mean, take this into consideration. Derek Mason, basically same position, same team even. And I mean, he ended up retiring a Raven, but at the same time, he's still very much affiliated with the Tennessee Titans. So I don't see it as a bad thing. I knew when Derrick Henry made this move that we were basically going to have to share Derrick Henry, and that's just the thing. So whatever accomplishments he has over there now, they're going to be tied within each other. So it's understandable that fans are upset about this, and I get that. That's the emotional aspect of it. But I mean, understandably, the fact is we also have to realize that even though he's going to retire his jersey with the Tennessee Titans, I'd expect if he gets just as much success with the Ravens or gets to that point where A.J. Brown did, well, then that becomes a different talking point. I mean, let's take it from there. I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, here's the thing. How many more years does Derrick Henry have left? I mean, according to a lot of other people, his fall off was supposed to happen 2 years ago. But he's still trucking right along. He was doing it behind bad Titans offensive lines. Now he's behind a good Ravens offensive line who, I mean, I believe now his yards before contact, this was maybe the first time in a while where it's been positive. Like he wasn't getting hit behind the line of scrimmage like crazy. So, like you said, one of those things where, say maybe he has 3 more years left. If in those 3 years he keeps putting up similar numbers to what he did this past year with them, I mean or like you said, if he goes and wins the Super Bowl, that kind of adds to some different things. Like, I feel like his number should be retired here with the Titans for what he did. But if he goes on to have a successful career, rest of his career with the Ravens, and especially if he wins the Super Bowl, that's going to be a big talking point and I mean, it'll probably overshadow a lot of the Titans stuff.
Steve saying letting go of the king was one of the reasons Fran Carthon lost his job. I don't know, Steven. I mean, that's your opinion, and that's fine. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. I really feel it was just a situation. We knew Derrick Henry was going to leave, especially on the network. We talked about it in length. As soon as we heard about the first trade rumor potentially with the Ravens, we kind of felt the writing was on the wall. And regardless of whatever was going to happen, we felt that it was going to be just kind of a good parting thing. He wanted to go somewhere and compete, and that was understandable. It was just a no bad blood situation because you just looked at it from his perspective. He was only going to have so many more prime years left. And to get into that point and just mindset of wanting to handle business and play at that high level again like he had been, it's understandable. I wouldn't expect somebody of his caliber to be a part of a rebuild.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, really, if anything, I know I kind of hinted at this earlier with the rivalry between the Titans and Ravens. Here's the thing. We don't need to blame Rand Carthon or Brian Callahan for Henry being with the Ravens. We don't even have to blame Derrick Henry for going to the Ravens. Let's say we need to blame Jerry Jones for not even picking up the phone and trying to get him to come to the Cowboys, because he probably would have went there. And then we probably aren't having this conversation.
I mean, I'll be honest. I felt that him going to Dallas almost seemed like just a perfect marriage. You know, he had done a lot of his training on the offseason in Dallas. He had a home there. So it made sense. But for Jerry Jones, which is just odd for the fact that he just didn't want the headlines at this point for whatever reason, financially or, you know, whatever you want to dispute it as, you know, that's really just the first domino that basically set Derrick Henry on the path to becoming a Baltimore Raven. Which, you know, it is what it is. I mean, as much as I wanted him to go to Dallas, and I would have been better off just seeing him go to Dallas, nobody wanted to see him go with the Ravens. Let's say what it is. No. It is what it is.
It hurt seeing him in that purple for the first time. It cut deep. I would have much rather seen him in a Cowboys uniform.
But I mean, as I've said, you know, I have families that has family ties in Baltimore. So, you know, it's just one of those, take care of my boy. You know, he's special. You better take care of him. Just like you took care of the other ones. It's getting to be too big of a trend, especially with other trends that we'll discuss later that I don't want to get into right now because, you know, Tyler already poured his heart and soul out in the TikTok video. Check that out, by the way. But just seems like we keep giving up just great players with just high ceilings that just end up having success elsewhere. And damn it, it's about time we just start being a little selfish and start having some of that for ourselves.
Yep.
I mean, I could do a show all night on that because let's just be honest. I want to be gracious. I want these guys to have success even after they've left. I don't want to be the dude that wishes them any kind of just foul play or whatsoever. I don't want to be, you know, small-minded as such to say. But really, it just pisses me off at the point where it's like, kind of tired of being the good guy in this. It's like, I want to be a little selfish at this point. That's why with this draft coming up, I'm just saying, I'm being selfish throughout the whole process. I want somebody that's going to come into this franchise and flip the whole thing on its head.
Right there with you. I mean, when we've lost some of these guys, it's been wishing them the best. And like you said, we got a talking point later on that we'll get to. You hinted at my video that I did. And look, I want these guys to be happy, have success, but some of these goals that they're accomplishing, I'm selfish. I wanted them to happen in Titans jerseys. Simple as that. And like you said, coming up with the draft, I want to be selfish. Give me the guy that's going to turn just things upside down and flip the ship and get it going in the right direction.
I'll take it a step even further. I want a generational talent. You know, I want that for our guys. I want somebody that's going to come in and do what Steph Curry did for Golden State or what Tim Duncan did for the San Antonio Spurs. I want that. Give me that. I want to be the team where people are tired of seeing us go and we have to stop complaining about bandwagon fans joining into our fray. I would really like that. Just once. And I know, bro, it's everywhere. It's every time. It's a trend that I'm tired of seeing. It's something I'm tired of discussing. It's something that I'm just infuriated at this point about. I don't care. I really just want to be at the point where I can brag a little bit. That when we come on this show, that we actually have something positive to talk about. That's not other players playing for different teams and winning Super Bowls. I mean, those shows are exhausting at that point. Dag is not the guy. Cowboys need a new quarterback, and I mean, I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do in that instance, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't want them. That's a no from me, but I'm sure somebody's willing to pay, especially in a quarterback position. And we really don't know who would take that shot, because that's a massive contract to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good.
Where did Tractor Cito come from? This was just one of those internet things that I think just kind of exploded.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where it come from. I mean, didn't it really pop up in like 2020? Like, wasn't that when it kind of first come about? Because I know he's had the King Henry for a while, but the Tractor Cito, I'm not sure where that come from.
I want to say you're right, because it felt like right when we're in the middle of the season, that name just kind of picked up some heat, especially after the Ravens playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's an interesting origin story to say, but Mr. says, I think he got it at Alabama by a teammate or something, which, if we can get anybody to clarify that, if you can give us the origin of Tractor Cito, that would help make this show just a little bit more interesting. I'm intrigued by that. I know in 2020 it definitely got a lot of headway. Lone Star Titan, Genty doesn't make sense and doesn't fill a need, but man, I wish we had a second first to get him. He's going to be somebody's bell cow. He's going to be somebody's bell cow.
All right. So according to AI Overview on Safari, it said that he got the El Tractorcito nickname by a Spanish language announcer during the 2014 Sugar Bowl.
Okay, so it's been there. It just took a while to basically just flourish once again.
Yeah, it apparently
Tractor Cito's always been Tractor Cito. He just didn't really just get worldwide basically until that massive playoff game that we saw against the Ravens, because I really feel that's kind of where it just butted up.
Yeah, it was big in his 2015 Heisman season, but I think obviously that would have been more for like the Alabama fans at the time. So, and I think the King Henry name was kind of more prominent. So
makes sense, though. Zigzag coming in peace. Loyal Kansas City Chiefs fan for 38 years. Congratulations to the Eagles and the Eagles organization. Quite gracious to you, Zigzag. And of course, you guys came out and you balled and it just didn't go your way. So, congratulations to you guys on a successful season. It just didn't go the way you wanted it to. But I mean, believe me, Patrick Mahomes' window isn't shutting anytime soon. So you string another offensive line together, fix that up, rework some contracts. You got Andy Reid, who's still one of the best coaches in the league. You guys are still one of those teams that are going to be in it to win it. Problem is, it's just everybody else is going to be getting a little bit better too. Even bad teams don't stay bad for long in the NFL.
No, I'm not going to take shots at Browns fans.
Don't do that. We're sitting on top. Who are we to like? Who are we? Yeah, we're living in the glass house throwing rocks. Don't be doing that.
I stopped myself.
We got our own. We got way too many problems of our own, man. Come on now.
I realized I was sitting in the living room of that glass house, and I better not throw anything.
It's not even a strong glass. That's some rickety glass.
It's already got cracks in it, so
that's the spirit, man. You'll get over it. Believe me. The sun will keep rising one way or the other. So I guess we got time for, one draft question. So how are you feeling on the quarterback scope today, Tyler?
Today I'm leaning Cam Ward. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You'll
do anything to appease these comments. No, jeez, man.
I bounce back and forth. You can catch me on any day and ask me, and the answer is either Shadur or Cam Ward. Right now, I'm fine either way. But today, I'm like, I'm give me Cam. Last week, I was picking Shadur, and we had people in the chat going wild for Cam.
Of course they were, because honestly, Cam Ward's got an amazing arm. He's got a great ceiling. So I expect us to have quite a few conversations, but you know what? That kind of leads into a good headway for next week, because next week we're going to have a very special guest to talk nothing but Cam Ward.
There we go.
If you're a Cam Ward supporter, if you want to hear nothing about anything but Cam Ward and what Cam Ward can do as a Tennessee Titan, then I've got great news for you. Next week, we are going to have Locked On Canes on the show to talk about Cam Ward and what he's going to bring to the table for the Tennessee Titans. We're going to get every little bit of dirt we can on him. We're going to get all the skinny. Trust me, you're not going to miss next Monday's show. I promise you it's going to be a good one. So we're pulling out all the stops this week, because I promise you, you want Cam Ward, we're going to get you all the Cam Ward we can get. Short of getting Cam Ward, which I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't have that kind of pull yet, but believe me, if we had that kind of pull, I promise you, we'd have him here on the show. I like Sanders. Cam has the bigger arm. Big Jamarcus Russell had a bigger arm than other guys. I mean, that's fair. Sean, thank you very much. Yeah, don't miss Monday's show, Steven. I promise you, it's going to be a banger. You know, we've had this one we've been sitting on this one, so we're really excited. So make sure you check that out next Monday. Locked On Canes will be here talking all about Cam Ward. Maybe a few other players from Miami, but who knows? We'll see. I mean, there's a couple of them that the Titans might draft that aren't Cam Ward, so just think of it that way. All right, guys, we'll take our quick first break of the show, and when we come back, let's talk about bridge quarterbacks, because honestly, this is a thing people want to talk about, and I guess we'll talk about it. So who is the best bridge quarterback for the Tennessee Titans? We'll find out after this break. The Power Hour's on the air, live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Tuesday evening. Why are we on Tuesday? Because I was tired, damn it. Monday was rough on me. My body said no. I started a new job. I'm having to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, so just give me some time, guys. Takes a little while to adjust things, but I'm here now. Tyler's here. We're here talking football. It's all good. So I promise you we'll be back next Monday, right on schedule, because I'm a creature of habit. Tyler's a creature of habit. We like keeping things the way they work. So that's on me for this week, but I promise you next Monday, I have no excuses. I'll be rested. There's no football to watch, which is the sad part, so I don't know what to do. That's just... it's just heartbreaking, Tyler. I don't know what we're going to do for the next 6 months.
We're going to bring these people quality content. That's what we're going to do.
Well, I'm glad you agree about that. But as for us, it's the hard part of the season. What are we going to talk about for 6 months, man? We've only been doing this 4 years, so I think I guess we'll be able to do this without any hitches. But I promise you, as Tyler said, we're going to give you the best Tennessee Titans and NFL content that we can give you out there. So don't forget, guys. If you love the show, help it grow. Follow us on Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and X at the Titan Upload Network. And don't forget, sharing is caring. Whether it's Tennessee Titans, whether it's an NFL team of the other 31, give us a like and make sure you share the show out with all your friends, because we want to talk ball. Whoever you represent, all in all are welcome here. Well, Tyler, I don't know how we got at the topic of bridge quarterbacks, but I feel like that this is going to be a full discussion point, especially getting up to free agency. So, I guess like the trends, maybe we're going to have to just buck this one and just roll with the punches, unfortunately, because people want to talk bridge quarterbacks. So, shall we?
If we must.
Let's cross the bridge. All right, Tyler. So let's put it this way. Who do you feel is the best bridge quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, in your opinion? And I want you to be specific and give me an example. Sell me your guy. Because the free agent market's here. We're looking at every option possible. Who's the guy?
Yeah, so I'm gonna stick to my. Oh man, I have two options that I'm torn between because one has been the guy that I've kind of been. I'm like I could be okay with this, and the first one is I'd be fine with taking a shot on Justin Fields. Younger quarterback, he's going to be cheaper, and just I guess can maybe bring a little bit more excitement. I know he had his struggles with the Bears. He was looking pretty good with the Steelers up until getting benched. So, he's got that veteran presence now to him. That's kind of my first option. And this other one, I'm going to be honest with you, it's just happened because all of the content that I've been seeing from him, and I know how wrong it could go and how bad on the field it could be to watch at times, but Jameis Winston is just a character. And yes, Titans bros, look, maybe T Higgins, an interception for if Jameis Winston comes here, because we know that he can throw those. So, but just from the speeches we could get and the content that could come from it, but bridge quarterback still leaning more towards Justin Fields.
So Justin Fields is your guy, 100%.
That's who I've been leaning towards, yes.
Even though he's not a good fit for the system? I mean, explain.
Just, I don't necessarily want to bring in one of these older guys that could. I feel like Justin Fields, even though he doesn't fit the system the best, I mean, think about this. Cam Ward doesn't necessarily fit the system the best, but he's worth taking a chance on. Justin Fields, like I said, he's had his time. He's put it in. He's shown success. Some success with the Bears, some success with the Steelers before they decided to take him out and put Russell Wilson back in. And like I said, he's 25 years old. You take a shot on him for the cheap, maybe he revitalizes that career even more.
Okay, well let's hit on the age aspect of it. If you're going after Justin Fields, then I would have to assume that you're thinking long term with him. I don't see that as a bridge move. I see that as a long-term solution.
I say still a bridge move because you kind of give him that 1 year prove it deal, see how he can be, see if he has learned, if he's grown more as a quarterback, and then if things pan out and they don't take a quarterback in the draft, then you could potentially look at that if he puts a good year together. Or maybe you bring him in, and if you draft Cam Ward, you can let Cam Ward sit behind him a little bit.
So I don't know about that. I just feel like that's kind of that's going to cause too much ruckus in the quarterback room. I feel like Justin Fields is going to take that personal, especially if he could go anywhere in the NFL in any quarterback situation and have an opportunity just to go flat out start. I mean, even with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I've already heard sprinklings of just rumors that, Russell Wilson's not going to be back next year. So you'd have to think that Justin Fields is really going to try and push for that starting spot. And it seems like the better fit.
That could be.
So that's the thing with me. I don't think if the Titans are going that way, I don't see that as a bridge move. I see that as a permanent move. I see that as a move where they're like, he's going to be our guy. That's who we're biding our future on. I mean, Steven brought up a good point. Is that a move you really want to make, especially with Amy Adams struck? The way things have been going the last few years, that's dangerous. That is massively dangerous. And I don't think I want to put like that kind of gamble on anything. And let's take this into consideration as well. You're making that move, and basically you're still at the first position because let's say nobody wants to trade up. Mm-hmm. They're calling our bluff. Tennessee seemed desperate. And it's just one of the reasons I really don't like the fact that they're coming out and basically saying, hey, come talk to us, guys. The phone's open. It's desperation, man. You're selling something that people don't want right now. You seem desperate, and that's just a bad move. I'm not going to pick up the phone because you just seem like somebody I could take advantage of in a situation that you don't want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So dangerous move for the Titans right there. And I still feel, Abdul Carter is an amazing as a talent as he is. I still feel he's a player you trade back at least to 3 and get if you're able to get to that position.
Agreed.
Because I just can't justify going number 1 with him overall right now. And that could change within a few months. It could. But just right now, I feel that 1, 2, they're your quarterback spots. That's what you have to go with right now. Even with the uncertainty. Because even if you don't want the 2 guys, you still have to sell the idea to the other teams that need them. So bridge move aside. If you're going permanently with Justin Fields, the other thing that kind of bothers me about him, and I've already brought this up, I just don't see how he fits in Callahan's system. He's not even what I would call a Callahan type quarterback. Justin Fields is more of a prototypical just runner when he has to be. So I have a hard time seeing how he fits into this offensive system. Because he's completely the opposite of what Callahan wants in a quarterback.
I can give you that point. I do want to circle back to Steven's point, though, of last thing Brian Callahan needs is a gamble, especially with Amy Adams-Strunk's mood. I'm just saying, any quarterback at this point, any bridge quarterback is a gamble, because if that bridge quarterback doesn't get you more than 3 wins, Callie's probably gone anyway. So,
well, think of it this way as well. Who's going to sell more tickets in April? Is it going to be Cam Ward or Justin Fields? Is it going to be Shedeur Sanders? Is it going to be Shedeur Sanders or Justin Fields?
I'll give you that. Now I know you have an idea of who the bridge quarterback is.
Oh, you know exactly who my bridge quarterback is, and no one's talking about him. So let me set up my. See, I know you're going to come back at me, and that's fine because I brought notes. I brought notes, and I'm ready to go. So
no,
I'll set up my.
I just have to ask. I'm not going to reveal who your bridge quarterback is, but who's going to sell more tickets come April? Who's going to put more in seat? Cam Ward or your bridge?
Okay, but my guy, unlike yours, isn't a permanent fixture. My guy is basically a Band-Aid. My guy is just here for a short time, maybe a good time. Not here for a long time, not a good time. They're not like me. So let's take this into consideration. I just need a guy to come in and handle business while I get, let's say, Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, your quarterback, insert there. We'll go with that discussion. I don't want to just pick one random guy. Just whoever you like in the chat, that's who your guy is. That's who I'm basically trying to get prepared for. So let's put it this way. I just need a guy to come in and handle business, and I don't need to overpay him. I don't need to go into free agency and overpay a guy that I know I'm just going to use for maybe about a year. I just need my rookie quarterback to get comfortable and get himself in the right mindset and prepared to take over the team long term. That's all I need him to do. So, of course, Derek Carr is on our pitcher, and you assume that's my guy. No. Because that's a lot of dead cap to eat, especially with the fact on a contract that Derek Carr still has that the Titans would probably still have to eat, especially if it comes through a trade fruition, which why are you going to trade away more assets for a guy that you're just trying to make a bridge quarterback? So, Mike, who are you going to go with? Well, it's not Aaron Rodgers. That ship has sailed. Maybe 5 years ago, I would have been stoked with the fact that Aaron Rodgers is coming here. Aaron Rodgers is going to be 42 years old. I have no interest in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers more likely is going to retire before it's said and done. I don't see him wanting to come and play another year. Father Time is undefeated in its game. It's taken out every player that's ever put on a pair of shoulder pads. Ask Tom Brady. He even got to the point where it's like, nah, I'm good. So who else are some of the popular names that are floating around, Tyler, that we continue to see in discussions? Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, Matthew Stafford, one that I swear, the worst one for me is Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold's not a bridge quarterback. Sam Darnold's a 3 to 4 year commitment.
Yeah,
but
that's the name getting thrown around.
It's the name getting thrown around, but like I said, Minnesota would be ridiculous for letting him walk. And if you're the Giants, you're a far better fit than what the Titans would be. You have better weapons. You have a chance to solidify your offensive line. You've got arguably one of the best young wide receivers in the game who hasn't even scratched his potential yet. So I know what you're asking, guys. Who's the guy? Who's the bridge quarterback? It's Andy Dalton. Let me explain. It's so simple. He's already a free agent coming into this year. He's going to be affordable. He's already played on 4 different teams. He's already had an opportunity of working with Brian Callahan. So the familiarity's there. He's just looking to stay in the game. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a guy that understands his role. Andy Dalton will understand his role in 1 year. And this is a Tennessee Titans type of move. This is a Matt Hasselbeck signing. This is a Ryan Fitzpatrick signing. This to me is basically, I got a guy that's pretty solid in his line of work. He's thrown 253 touchdowns. He's thrown for over 40,000 yards. He's got a 62% completion percentage. I don't need anything flashy. I just need somebody that's going to come in and just run the team. That's been at a fairly high level of success. And he has, for the most part. I don't need him to be flashy. I just need him to come in and do the job. I don't need you to be the star. I don't need you to be the face of the franchise. You've already done that with the Bengals, and you got as far as you could with that. The only benefit is Brian Callahan's system. You have familiarity with each other. just come in and do the job. You're definitely a 1-year signing guy, and I'm definitely going this way. That's my guy. So, Tyler, I see you smiling. I know you're ready to tear this argument apart. So please go ahead, but do know I come prepared.
No, look, I'm laughing because I'm reading the comments. I see D, that comment pop up saying, "Ain't nobody showing up to the games next year with Andy Dalton."
Are they showing up with Will Levis? Are they showing up with another year of Mason Rudolph?
So that's why I was smiling. And look, here's what I'm going to say, because me and you talked about this a little bit before the show. Do I really like this? No, not really. But if you had me pick out of the names that we've said, Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, Andy Dalton, Matt Stafford, which Stafford you would probably have to trade for. And again, that goes against, what the Titans are trying to do right now. They're not trying to lose draft capital right now. They want to get more draft capital. So they're not going to trade for one of these guys. Derek Carr, you would have to hope that the Saints release him because they're in cap purgatory. Like, I don't know how they do it every year, but either way, Andy Dalton, like you said, he's really the 1-year guy, and he's the cheapest option out of all of them. So if they're going to go that route, and like you said, I still believe it would need to be draft Shadur or Cam at 1, and then you bring Dalton in he doesn't even have to be the guy all year long. Just long enough until you feel like Cam or Shadur has gotten a good enough grasp of the system. So, again, do I like it? No. But do I hate it? Also no.
Well, here's your thing. The Tennessee Titans right now are like a broken leg. Does anybody want to wear a cast for 8 months? No. But they have to in order to get better, in order to repair what's damaged. That's what Andy Dalton's going to do. I don't need you to be flashy. I don't need you to be the face of the franchise. I don't need you to go in and command respect to this huddle. I just need you to go in and just play ball. And if you can get along with the guys, and if you can get a couple of wins along the way, okay, that's fine. But that's all you are. You're a cast. You're practically a cast at this point, and that's all I need you to be. And you're an affordable cast. That's the beautiful thing. Because people need to understand the Titans also have to address other needs through free agency. 8 draft picks aren't going to get the job done. And as much as they bring in an unlimited amount of undrafted free agents, which I'm sure they will, because you can find talent anywhere, that doesn't necessarily mean they're all going to pan out. So you got to at least hit on half your draft and sign at least a few guys that are going to be impact players that help progress your team, at least from a standpoint, at a better option. Unfortunately, this year, if you're going bridge quarterback, this is the way you're going to have to go. You're going to have to think affordable. You're going to have to think successfully, but you also got to have to find a guy that fits the bill too. Andy Dalton hits all 3 check marks. So it's a no-brainer. I don't need to overspend on a 1-year quarterback. I don't have to ask a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers to play like he's 32. I don't have to ask Matthew Stafford, I need you to be okay for just being here for at least a couple of years. Andy Dalton knows what he is. And sometimes that's a good thing. He's 37. He knows all he's got to do. Just go out and play. You want to stay in a show. We're trying to groom a quarterback. Everybody's happy. Are Titan fans going to be buying Andy Dalton jerseys? I highly doubt it. But if it gives the Titans what they need in order to be successful in the long run of things, then believe me, that Shedeur Sanders jersey or that Cam Ward jersey is going to look even better when they've had a year of time to prepare for the role that they're going to be thrust into. And Maddie, I agree. That cast has been on for a long time. Not a good time. I genuinely just want to get this thing over with. But at the same time, it's not too hard to see that this is the best move for the Titans. I think this regime definitely values the quarterback position, especially Mike Bergonzi, especially Chad Brinker. They basically have built the success that their teams have founded on the Green Bay way. And what's the Green Bay way? You build around the quarterback. That's all this is. I see past the smoke screens for the moment. I think eventually, once they talk to everybody, they're going to really build their mindset up. One of these guys is going to be our quarterback of the future. Who, I certainly can't tell you for sure, but I genuinely get the feeling from two guys that have built their systems through the Green Bay way, they're thinking quarterback. And for the time being, like the Kansas City Chiefs did, and like the Green Bay Packers have done, they've had a quarterback basically running the show before they switch things up. Green Bay, unfortunately, is just more successful in terms of doing that. Kansas City had the luxury of having Alex Smith, still a really good Alex Smith, to play ahead of a Patrick Mahomes that was basically beneficial for sitting for a year.
True.
I told you I'd bring my notes. So don't you're gonna shoot the king, you better shoot the king in front of the court. See, I already tickled Steven's funny bone with that one, so I don't expect everybody to like hit it on every aspect, and that's fine. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I mean, D, nobody was showing up last year.
And I mean, look, D, to be fair, if the Titans did bring Andy Dalton in as the bridge quarterback and drafted Cam or Shedeur, people would show up just to yell at Brian Callahan to put Cam or Shedeur in. So,
yeah, let's just put it this way. Preseason, you probably have more people in the seats preseason than you would the regular season.
You would probably have more people in the seats preseason than you did at the end of this past year.
You'll be in the seats. I see you in the seats preseason. And I don't even think you went to a game last year.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to make it to any last year. But
yeah, this year, one of those two quarterbacks there, I see a totally different narrative. But that being said, that's our bridge quarterback, or my bridge quarterback. Tyler wants to go with somebody that I don't even think works in the system, but hey, each to their own, I guess. But with that being said, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll shut down shop. So quick 30 seconds. We'll be right back after this.
Watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air. Live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Tuesday evening. We're a day late, but we're not a day short of your appreciation, guys. Once again, you showed up, you killed it in the comments, you killed it in the chat, even if you're laughing at us, which is fine. We can take the criticism, because with that, we want you guys to have your opinion, and we want to give every bit of aspect that we can to give you a better insight of what we think is going to happen this offseason. But we can't do it without your support, because without you, the show don't go, and it's not entertaining, and it doesn't matter because you guys are the blood that pumps the heart. So as always, round of applause for you guys. And don't forget, if you love the show, help it grow, follow us on Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and X at the Titan Upload Network. And of course, sharing is caring. Make sure you share the show out to all your Tennessee Titans or NFL friends, whether they support the 31 or the Titans. It's all good. We love talking ball, and we'll talk ball as much as we can. Speaking of talking ball, let's talk about the final game of the year. Oof, this one was a lot to be desired, just in terms of just entertainment value. But hey, we're not going to get to talk ball for the next 6 months, Tyler, so let's make this one count.
Let's do it.
Hit that damn theme music.
Closing time.
Good night, losers.
Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles as they have locked down Super Bowl 59 in a triumphant manhandling of the Kansas City Chiefs. This wasn't even close, Tyler. This wasn't even a game by halftime. This was basically just a statement.
100%. And you look at that final score and see 18 points, and it wasn't even that close. I mean, let's be honest. Like, the Eagles went into this game, smacked the Chiefs right in the face, and told them to sit down. And the Chiefs listened. Like, I mean, there was nothing that the Chiefs could do.
That wasn't even a smack in the face. That was a smack in the face with a sledgehammer. Like, that was literally the very live version of that Simpsons meme where the kid's crying, "Stop, he's already dead."
And, I mean, let's be honest. Me and you were texting about this. Like, it just looked like the Chiefs' offense, when they come out, like, they were just stale as could be. And I guess with how that Eagles defense was, like, it threw them off. And I don't know if, I guess the last time I really saw Patrick Mahomes get, like, happy feet back in the pocket would have been going back to that Super Bowl against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell as soon as he took the snap, like, he was never settled in. He didn't trust their protections, and he kept falling right into what the Eagles wanted because they were beating them around the edge so much. They wanted Mahomes to step up in the pocket because they had a guy looping around waiting for him. And a lot of the times, he would step up way earlier than he needed to, but it was because they had his internal clock all messed up and done it without blitzing. Like,
yeah,
that's the crazy part.
Vic Fangio, if you could give an award for coaching, like, just dominated, just from a game calling perspective. Kansas City had no answer for him. And it was the most basic of schemes. They carbon copied what Tampa Bay did, and they put the pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and he had no answer. And I think this is something important we need to discuss too. Look, Patrick Mahomes is a phenomenal player, but can we stop the comparisons to him and Tom Brady? They were never close in the first place. They never were. Tom Brady's Super Bowl career is far and above any other player that's played in multiple Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes is an 80% quarterback rating. He has 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
I will say this because watching that game, I was sitting there and I was talking to my wife, and I was kind of making the joke because obviously Tom Brady was calling the game, and he had to be sitting up there with a little bit of a smirk watching this, like, yep, they're going to have to hold off on those conversations a little bit longer here. But I saw where people were bringing up Mahomes just so happens to have the same record through 5 Super Bowls, his first 5 Super Bowls, that Tom Brady did, which was 3-2. The biggest thing is, I don't ever recall Tom Brady getting absolutely dismantled.
He
like
never
that
got
in a Super Bowl.
dominated. Brady never got dominated like that.
I mean,
Brady
the only time it was close was the Falcons game, and they come back and won.
Yeah, that was his GOAT game. And I'll stand on that rock and die. But I'm telling you right now, Tom Brady never lost a Super Bowl in a dominating fashion. It was always close. Through any way necessary, those games were always close. But let's put this in consideration as well. For the Eagles, Tom Brady being involved has been a very good thing for you guys. So whether it was in a broadcast booth or on a football field, apparently the Eagles now can say they're undefeated with Tom Brady. So,
well, look, here's another thing. I figured out how, because I saw this graphic, I figured out how you keep the Chiefs from winning any more Super Bowls with Patrick Mahomes. All you have to do, let me ask you this, Michael. Who are the 3 quarterbacks now to have beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs and Super Bowl?
In the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So Tom Brady was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Done it twice.
Joe Burrow was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the other one?
Now Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So now in the Super Bowl, when Patrick Mahomes has faced Tom Brady, he's 0-1 when Brady's playing. When Tom Brady is not involved at all in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is 3-0. When Tom Brady is calling the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is 0-1. It is the Tom Brady effect. Patrick Mahomes cannot win a Super Bowl if Tom Brady is involved, whether it be on the field or in the broadcast booth. So if you want to keep the Chiefs from winning any more Super Bowls, just have Tom Brady call the game.
That's cold-blooded. But true.
I mean,
no face. I mean, if they want to trade him, I'm not opposed to it. But I don't see it happening. That's one of your key guys. I mean, sometimes you keep your core together and sometimes you just bite the bullet. It's hard to say just how the locker room relationship or the dynamic comes into it, but I'm not saying I wouldn't pick up the phone.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. Nick Sirianni wore A.J. Brown's high school jersey to his press conference the next day. Like, I think they're all right. But if they decided to trade him, like, hey, more power to him. But all that being said, getting back to the Eagles, that defensive performance they put on, and Jalen Hurts having the game that he had. Like, we got to give Jalen Hurts his flowers here because I myself had a lot of doubt about him in the playoffs. He come out, had over 200 yards passing in this game.
Broke the Jim Kelly curse. Let's not forget that.
Yep. And
every quarterback that lost in the Super Bowl never got back to that Super Bowl. So he shattered that illusion. And then after that, shattered the illusion of a quarterback winning the Super Bowl was impossible that had previously lost.
Yeah. And you have, that pass to Devontae Smith, where everyone thought, okay, this is the point where the Eagles are just going to start milking the clock, run it down. No, they put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands and said, here's the dagger, finish it. And, just a beautiful pass down the field, and he finished it.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts doesn't have that game without his offensive line, which biggest damn offensive line in the NFL. Those boys are huge. If they stay healthy and they continue to put in that kind of production and find guys like that with that kind of talent, I mean, the Eagles are a problem.
That they are.
So, we'll end with 2 discussion points, and we'll start with the first one. So, Tyler, can the Eagles repeat? Yes, no, or if no, who's the challenger?
Okay. If the Eagles keep this team together, I think they have a really good shot that they can make it back. Yes. That being said, I don't think any team over the last several years that has won the NFC East has been able to repeat that the following year. The NFC East hasn't had back-to-back winners of that division. That being said, Eagles could easily get in a wild card spot, but as far as who could challenge them, obviously, you could say the Lions, but I have some questions about them now losing Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson about how that's going to work out and how the Lions will look going forward. The Commanders, I think, could give them a run for their money if they add some more pieces. But asking me right here in this moment, I would feel most confident in saying that the Eagles could probably run it back if they keep this team together.
I mean, in the sense of repeating, the Eagles have all the pieces, as you said. I think Jalen Hurts just showed that he's an elite level quarterback, especially with having the right pieces around him. And I think the one concerning thing I have, Kellen Moore, officially now going to New Orleans as their new head coach, how much of an impact that's going to make on him going forward. But I think Jalen Hurts is just that kind of guy where you can put change in front of him and he embraces it, just like he's done throughout his entire career. And I don't think we give him enough credit for that. Alabama dealt with that, going to Oklahoma, dealing with that, Philadelphia having to deal with that as well. Then finally getting his opportunity and going through a different offensive system. So there's a very good chance they could repeat, and I wouldn't put it past them. But like the NFL and in every aspect of the NFL, everything changes the next year. Players move around, coaches move around. Everything is not the same as it once was. That's why we always say after the Super Bowl, everybody hits back to zero, and then you're basically defending what you have. So that's what the Eagles are doing at this point. I can easily say that, yes, they've got a high chance of repeating, but I'm not going to count out Kansas City. That said something different.
Tell us how you really feel, Michael.
You don't want to. Hey, we got a podcast for that. They can go listen to that, which is going to be coming back in February, by the way. So we'll make sure we give you all time for that. So to finish out on our final question, and I guess I'll shout out our good friend who brought up this. Do you think the Titans can get into the Super Bowl in the next 10 years?
I hope so. I'm not going to shoot my expectations up right now, but I hope so. I mean, actually, Michael, if we're going to talk about this, Super Bowl logo for next year's come out, and I happen to notice some blue in there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of colors in there, Tyler. Come on.
Maybe.
The NFL threw just about 9 different colors into that logo just to make sure nobody was going to come up with any conspiracies. I'm not going to say that the blue was suspiciously on the Super Bowl logo like you pointed out to me before we got started. But I'm not a big conspiracy guy. You know that.
Right.
That's just me, though.
I want to... I do want to circle back to the Eagles right quick because another factor is, of course, guys staying healthy. And one thing that could be a little bit alarming is, isn't there a thing with when a rusher goes for over 2,000 yards in a season, usually that next season there's that dip or injury? Not trying to, not trying to speak injury on anyone, but Saquon Barkley, 2,000-yard rushing season for the Eagles this year. So, you kind of have to wonder if that ends up holding true.
I mean, it's a lot of wear and tear on a running back, especially. Saquon does a good job of keeping himself in shape. And it's always one of those situations where you're just going to see if he can just come back and just have that kind of production. But I think you do see a decline, and that's just part of it. So I expect to see his numbers to go down. Hopefully he's able to get through the year healthy. But regardless, it's just one of those things. You just wait and see. They still got a great offensive line. He's still got a solid quarterback. They've got weapons. He doesn't have to do it on his own. So that's the nice thing about that. In terms of the Titans winning a Super Bowl within the next 10 years, you got to have three key components. You got to have the right GM, you got to have the right head coach, and you got to have the quarterback. I don't know what Tennessee has right now. And that's really hard to say because I don't want to see Brian Callahan get fired. I would like to see him have success, but I don't know what he is. I really hope that he takes a big step forward. If he does that, then I feel a little more comfortable in his ability to run a team. The thing is, and most people say, you don't need a quarterback. There's many differentials of trying to win. But I think those are the three components. If you don't have the coach, if you don't have the GM, if you don't have the quarterback, you can't win at a successful level. Look at any team that's won the Super Bowl and tell me that they haven't had all three of those. Kansas City has, the Eagles have, the Patriots have. Denver had it at one point. The Ravens had it at one point. It's just consistency. And it's those teams that build dynasties and those teams that get to the playoffs consistently because they have those already locked in. I mean, 10 years is a long time. And there's a lot to say what we'll be doing or where we'll be in 10 years, but I promise you, I won't say no. Because I've seen some pretty amazing things in sports. I can easily tell you it's not impossible. Everybody's got a shot. The NFL has always been a league of parity. The thing is, it's getting over that hump. If the Titans can get over that hump, and I think they will, because the one thing I'll credit this franchise for doing, even when they're bad, they've never been bad for long. It's just you hope that they can stay consistent and just be successful long term. We had a little stretch. We made some bad decisions. We made bad investments. That's just one of the things you have to do. You learn from your mistakes, and I think the Titans got it right with the right GM hire. I think Mike Borgonzi's the right guy. I think Chad Brinker's taken a lot off his plate by letting him handle the football stuff. Chad Brinker's going to do the day-to-day operation stuff. But don't say anything's impossible in sports. Because like I said, I've seen some pretty amazing things that have come to fruition that nobody would have dared dream or even say was possible. Case in point, that bad boy right there should tell you that nothing is impossible. So just think about that the next time you think that a team can't win a championship, because I promise you, sports can be amazing. It's even more amazing when it's your team that you love and support, is what it happens to. And I'm going to be so damn selfish when that day comes. And I'm going to be so annoying on this channel when that day comes. Nick Wright is going to look tame compared to what I'm going to bring. Which I hope he's okay. I haven't heard from him in the last couple of days. So please, if somebody will do a wellness check, I'm just asking.
So you haven't seen?
I haven't, but apparently
on their show yesterday, apparently he had already had stuff lined up for the Chiefs three-peat, like marching bands, confetti, all of that. So they let him have it because they said, we already had it booked. It was you couldn't cancel it. So they had the marching band come in. They had his banners in there. They had confetti that they dropped on him. And he just had to sit there and soak it in.
Yeah, that's the thing about deposits. They're going to cash those in one way or the other. So sucks for him, I guess. Lots of lightly used Chief jerseys on eBay today. Oh, that's okay. I mean, they'll be shipping out the Chief Super Bowl shirts soon. So, maybe you can get one of those.
Oh.
I'm just kidding you, Chiefs fans. We love you.
Oh.
With that being said, guys, thank you for watching the Power Hour. You've been phenomenal. The chat has been phenomenal. We love you. And one more time before we get out of here, if I can hit the right button. Apparently sleep's still deprivating my poor, fragile mind. But round of applause to you guys. Exhausting, but it's fun. Because you guys make it fun. That's all that matters. So don't forget, guys, before we get out of here, make sure you tighten up that like button for us and share and subscribe to the show, because that's how we continue to give you all this great content for free out here on the Titan Upload Network, because you are phenomenal, and we're going to continue to give you the best content we can all off season. No more watch parties, Tyler. No more games. We got 6 months to cover the combine. We got 6 months to cover the draft. We got 6 months to cover off the dev period, which is where we really shine. I don't even know what we're going to do there, but that's going to be fun. Then we get the training camp. Don't even want to talk about mini camp. We'll get there eventually, but it's all going to lead up to us getting back to football once September rolls around. But regardless, we're going to stay busy here at TUN to make sure you guys get the best content out there. And, of course, wherever you can find all our content pages at. So that being said, we are out of here. Join us next Monday. Locked On Canes will be here. We'll be talking about Cam Ward and what he brings to the table. It's going to be a phenomenal show, guys. So you heard it here first. Don't miss it next Monday. So for Tyler Staggs, I'm Michael Bishop of the Power Hour. And as always, take care and tighten up.
Tighten up.
You're watching the Titan Upload Network.